So near the town of Silverton, you can check out the historical mill for a small price that goes to the town of Silverton or the Silverton Historical Society. The mill has all the original insides and is quite interesting to see, considering it's one of the few intact mills in the valley. But it also has a slightly intact tramway. And I saw it go off into the distance, and I thought, how cool would it be to find out where that goes? It's not part of the tour, but hey, let's just find out. So I took off down the road and went up a 4x4 road as far as I could get my car. And then I hiked up the rest of the way until I got to the Mayflower mine. Now here is what's left of the mine. You can see parts of the tram that fell off and disappeared, and some piles of rock to protect the electricity poles and the tramway poles from being taken out by avalanches and rock slides. There's also a kind of a small hole that you could peer into the mine and take a look what's inside and some of the building. But then I looked across the valley and I saw more. I saw more piles of rock that looked like it was for another tramway. Now that didn't go back to the Mayflower Mill, so I kind of wondered, and I decided to go up farther. The trail became a little sketchy. At one point, there was an old mining cable, and you just kind of use that to climb up a little bit. And eventually I got to Silver Lake. This lake was located at over 12,000 feet and had a few old interesting buildings. From here I could tell that the tramway came from these mines sitting on this lake and went all the way 3 miles to the Iowa Mill, sitting in the same valley as the Mayflower Mill, just kitty corner across the river from it. To me, that's pretty impressive, especially for back then, having these huge buildings all the way up here above timberline, and to haul it down in a tramway 3 miles on cable to a mill. This seemed like such a huge operation, so I decided to look into it a bit. The person who built this was a German engineer named Edward Stoiber, who in 1890, at the age of 35, started to build this huge mining complex. During the late spring of 1890, Edward had a small army of workers with a mule train pack in thousands of board feet of lumber, tons of construction hardware, and bricks and the basic necessities of life to Stoiber's mine. At lake level there, Edwards assembled the largest surface plant and mill yet. Mules drew ore carts on rails from the mine's underground station to the mill. At the lake, he constructed a 3-step terrace mill, which used gravity with the aid of water and pumped the adjacent lake to draw the material through the treatment, after which workers dried the slurry and sacked it for shipment. Half of the value of the output came from gold, and the remainder from silver, lead, and copper. Also, a flume carried at least 500,000 tons of pipe mill tailings directly into Silver Lake's north end, creating an artificial beach and a long peninsula that separated the northern and southern lake portions. Unfortunately, this operation, along with those of the mine's neighbors, killed the aquatic life. Edward also built his own AC power plant, the second one in the state. Even with the mining economic crash of 1893, he continued to operate. And in 1895, he contracted William M. Frey to construct an 8,600-foot double-rope gravity-drawn tramway capable of moving 5 tons of crude ore and concentrates per hour from his mine to a shipping terminal he built earlier partway down Arastra Gulch. Once completed, this tram segment attracted notice for its long spans, one of which stretched almost 2,200 feet across a snowslide area. In 1898, Edward commissioned Frey again to build a 6,200-foot tramway extension from his first segment ended at the temporary station just above the Iowa Mill to a massive newly constructed ore storage terminal on the south side of the Animas River, west of the mouth of Arastra Gulch. The project increased the line's capacity from 5 to 30 tons per hour. This terminal served as a base station for Silver Lake Mine and included an assay shop and a freight yard. Edward then moved his mill from Silver Lake all the way down to the mouth of Arastra Gulch in 1900. The structure was able to treat 1,000 tons of pay rock every 24 hours, more than many mines generate in a month. Edward also had a tramway built across the lake so he could transfer ore from the mines across the lake, and employed about 300 people. They built a 5-story boarding house, including a basement, in 1897. Many of the workers were immigrants from Austria, Italy, and Finland. It had luxurious amenities in addition to a ventilation system, barbershop, laundry room, library, and reading room, as well as bathrooms and spacious sleeping apartments that accommodated no more than 4 men each. The dining room could seat 250 at a time. They piped in fresh water and collected and burned kitchen trash in a decadent furnace. Dishwashing machines, drying tables, 2-brick ovens ventilated by chimneys were all part of the cooking area. It was the best boarding house in the state. The owner of this mine, Edward Stoiber, was concerned enough with the lake's water quality to install a primitive sewer system, virtually unknown in the mining frontier. And by the end of 1897, this whole Silver Lake basin was transferred into an industrial landscape. There are 3 mines from which road radiated outward in every direction, and their mills, creating noise audible within all the surrounding basins. Edward Stoiber sold his Silver Lake mining properties to the Guggenheim Family Exploration Company in 1901 for about $67 million, with inflation an account for today. After he left, the mill never became as profitable. Plagued by fires, avalanches, and lower ore grades, the mill kept operating into the 1930s, but was never as profitable as it was when it was owned by Edward. If you are a fan of Colorado and the surrounding areas, be sure to check out my other videos and subscribe to the channel. I upload new videos every other Saturday. If you join the channel as a member, you will get exclusive access to a map of everything awesome in Colorado. You can also support this channel by liking or sharing the videos I make. You can also purchase Colorado merchandise and prints. Link in the description below.